Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where we talk about TV shows of the supernatural fantasy and or science fiction genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Supernatural. A great episode, a Gabriel episode at that, so I really appreciated that. I love this whole aesthetic of this episode, especially in some of the music kind of having this more Western-like aspect to it, because it fits into the theme of the episode, kind of being very showdownish. Even Gabriel, because I was wondering about that whole, like, it's like, why are you using wooden swords? I don't get, it's like, I guess, like, maybe that's come up in the show before, killing Norse gods with wood. I didn't know that was a specific thing. Well, to be fair, it wasn't, well, he killed one Norse god. Well, because there's also that whole debate in mythology whether or not Loki is technically a god. Because in some stuff, some days kind of depict him more as being a giant rather than an actual Norse god. It's a whole thing. I remember, because Norse mythology is one of those few things, like, years ago I was kind of really into, so I started, like, diving heavily into it on the internet, but nevertheless, it's still something I don't know everything there is to know about it. But nevertheless, basically this whole thing is a revenge tour for Gabriel. And because he isn't full back to power, he is still wounded. It seems like when he killed Asmodeus, that took a good chunk out of his powers, plus running away from Sam and Cass, which is kind of like, yeah, you would have been a little bit better off if you didn't run away from them and try to get as far away from them as possible, even to the point where Cass wouldn't be able to track him down, probably even cloaking himself, so it'd be hard for Cass to track him down, then using up more and more of his grace, so he wasn't at full strength. I like the fact that he went up against Fenrir. I thought that was kind of neat. I was like, Fenrir? I was like, you mean like the wolf from... And it's like, yeah, because you see it. It's kind of cool. He kind of goes almost all werewolf-like a little bit, like the teeth, his eyes, and his claws growing out like that. I was like, oh, that's so neat. Because I'm curious, like... Because obviously, like, gods have popped up before. In particular, Norse gods have popped up before. In fact, because this all deals with back in season 5, during that whole situation when, Lucifer was doing his thing. It's just kind of interesting to me just because it's like, just seeing that they're in human form. I guess it's like on the God plane, do they have their beast form and did they just come to this world? Did they possess human bodies or is that just the human forms that they took on themselves? It's stuff I wonder like that. Probably most likely forms they took on themselves, especially in Loki's case. Because we ended up getting Loki's backstory. It's like, honestly, I didn't tell you everything that went down in Monte Carlo. It's like, apparently he was kicking it with Loki's 3 sons, because they're not technically demigods, they're more like god beast, essentially, like Fenrir. Like the other one, Sefnir, like, he's a horse. I didn't realize what the other one was, the second one that ended up dying. I also like the fact is that Gabriel put everything on a list. He's like, no. He's like, why don't you go after Loki? He's like, what? No, I got my list. The fact of the matter is, you can't just go to, like, the main bad guy. It's almost like he treats it like a video game. It's like, no, you gotta work your way up to the main antagonist. You gotta kill all the flunkies first, then you take out the big baddie. It's like, for him, it's like, you don't get the satisfaction if you don't do it in that order, so... Obviously, Dean is the one that's the most against this whole thing because it's like, it's a waste of time. Sam agrees, but Dean kind of treats it as, yo, it's because you know what he's going through exactly. Because Sam was kind of tortured for such a long time, too. In particular, his soul was when he was in hell between Michael and Lucifer, when he was trapped in a cage. So it's like, are you helping him because you yourself is in a situation where the person you hate most, Lucifer, is still out there kicking? Like, if you had the opportunity, you tell me you wouldn't take out Lucifer. He's like, I would, but it's not about Lucifer. This is about just helping Gabriel. Yeah, the relationship with him has been complicated. He's been the trickster and everything, but he's still a friend and an ally in this whole situation, so that's why Sam wants to help him. What was also interesting finding out, too, the one behind all of this is Loki. Because they brought up a question I had, too. I was like, wait, so you're not Loki? It's like, no, he pretended to be Loki. Basically, when he found out his brother was kind of doing this whole, like, oh, yeah, apocalypse thing, was heading in that direction, he was like, you know what? I'm going to hide away from my brother. So he went to he ended up helping Loki way back in the day. Loki helped him hide. It's like he helped, Loki helped him go like, okay, you can have my face. Which makes you wonder, what does Gabriel actually look like then? I guess it's because it's a lot more convenient. Like, he looks like this now, so there's no point. I mean, that has to take a lot, too. Because when you actually think about that, because, I mean, each one of those is like their host. Like, angels have host bodies. So it's like, what did Gabriel's, like, did... I guess he used magic or his powers or maybe some of Loki's magic to kind of like shift his body to permanently look like that. There's probably no ever changing it back. Just like when an angel goes into a host body, unless they leave that body and get into another body, they will never look any different, you know? So, I mean, the same thing for why Lucifer looks the way he does, because he kind of got trapped with that host. That was never completely broken, was it? What Crowley did to him last season, making it so he was stuck to that body. That never got changed, did it? I don't think so. But nevertheless, the real Loki is the one who orchestrated everything. And it turns out Loki did all that he did because he's like, yeah, it's fine and dandy. I know they wanted to sell me out because it's like, well, because that was around the time of season 5. So Lucifer was on his apocalypse tour. And it's like, they had a good feeling that Lucifer was going to win. And if Lucifer found out that I was still alive, he'd come trap me down. And that's a headache they didn't want to deal with. But what pissed him off is like, they sold him to Asmodeus. Asmodeus is because I was wondering at what point in time did he, like, I figured it was like some time after the whole Monte Carlo situation. Like, that was kind of my understanding. It's like, no. So basically, he's been under Asmodeus's thumb since season 5, roughly. And so those 7 years he was tortured. For him, it's like, this means everything to him. This isn't just some petty revenge. It's like Asmodeus took everything from him, took his grace, belittled him, just made him feel weak and powerless. Like, you don't forgive and forget something like that. I mean, no one expects you to, but it's like, for him, that revenge, like, it doesn't stop with just Asmodeus. It's against all the people who put him in that position. But for Loki, it's like, the reason why I'm here is because I made you made a promise to me that you wouldn't let your family drama get swept up in it, and you did. And not only did you get swept up in it, you got my father involved and got him killed. Yes, he hated me, but the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, he was still my dad, and you got him killed. And for Loki, it pisses him off even more because of who Gabriel is. It's like, the fact of the matter is, all you've ever done is run away. It's like, no matter what you do, you always kind of, essentially be a coward is kind of what because you've always stood for nothing, and you will die for nothing. It's kind of what Loki kind of gave him. It's also pretty neat to see how Loki using his powers like that. Like, Dean's like, okay, so I can't hit you, but you can hit me. And he's just kind of like, well, we're no longer just are the real traits. And I'm like, even I have to be like, man, that's so unfair. It's like, usually with these things, it's like, oh, it's an illusion. So obviously it can't hurt you, but you can't hurt it, but it can't hurt you. It's like, no, that thing works almost like, it works like a more powerful shadow clone. I know I'm kind of going on like Naruto nerd here, but it kind of works the same way where those shadow clones are solid, so they can do some impact, they can hurt, they can do some damage. Obviously, one hit, they're gone, but in this particular case, it kind of fits like, oh, it's an illusion, so it can hit back, but you can hit it, but you can't really kill it. In the shadow clone case, you could. Nevertheless, you get what I'm trying to say. I mean, fortunately enough, they did put an end to it all, which is crazy. It is kind of crazy when you actually think about it in the grand scheme of the series. It's like, you drop gods like it's nothing. I mean, I guess in a world full of demons, monsters, and angels, it's kind of like, well, and gods, it's kind of like, it's no biggie. It's the world. I mean, you took out 4 princes of hell. That's nothing. You killed some Norse gods. That's nothing. So I guess it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, hell, you literally helped stop God's sister from going on rampage. So it's kind of like, nah, whatever. You killed death. Nah, whatever. You made all the angels fall from heaven. Nah. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you kind of forget sometimes just because of the craziness that they, like, Sam and Dean have experienced over years. You kind of let certain things kind of forget. Like, once again, Loki, fucking a Norse god is dead, and it's just kind of like it's whatever. Oh yeah, he was killed by, an archangel. Who cares? What the fuck, It's something to kind of think about when you don't think about it, But you can obviously, like, he's trying to play it up to Sam, making Sam think, like, oh, no, it's 100% okay. Like, I feel swell. Obviously, I got my revenge. I'm a new man. But in all honesty, it's what Dean told him. It's like, time and time again, things will tell you, revenge doesn't fill that hole in your heart. Because revenge is kind of the only thing that keeps you going. And once you've kind of dealt with that, like, it leaves you in an emptiness. So he has no one else to send all this hate for, because everyone associated with his kidnapping, dead. Asmodeus, Loki and his 3 sons, it's like they're all dead. So, but he has nothing to aim for now. So I think helping Sam and Dean isn't just about them. I think it is trying to, like what Loki said kind of got to him. I think he wants to kind of die for something. It's like he spent so much time running away from everything, his brother, helping people, trying to save the world, that I think it finally kind of resonate with him a little bit, potentially. I don't know, maybe he feels like maybe doing this, trying to do the right thing for the first time, actually helping, might fill that hole in his heart. I don't know. We'll kind of have to wait and see. But it was kind of interesting hearing from Sam and Dean, where Sam was like, I don't get it. You literally ran off on your own. I was like, yeah, why did you do that? I thought it was just, you were like, well, you were impatient. You're like, oh, I'm just going to get this done. We have no time for your little finesseful BS of like taking them out in a particular order. And it's like, no, for Dean, it's like he wanted to protect Sam. It's like, all he's ever done is, he's always wanted to look out for his little brother. And it's like, the last time you got caught up in the middle of something, it was between Michael and Lucifer, and you died and went to hell. And he's like, he's trying everything he can to look at, because every time it's happened, he's always done stuff. Like, let's not forget about season 8's finale, the whole situation, speaking of the angels falling, like the test to get rid of all the demons. I forgot what that was called exactly, but he made Sam stop because of what it did to his body. Then he got that angel, wasn't it Gadriel, to possess his body to heal Sam. Like, he would do anything to protect his little brother, just like Sam would do anything to protect Dee. But for him, it's like, we're in this together. Like, no matter what fate happens for us, like, no matter what happens, we live, we fight together. If we die together, so, which is like very sad to think about, but at the same time, it's this beautiful thing of like, no matter where we go, like, I will always have your back, like I know you'll always have mine, we're always in this together. Don't go off on your own, because whatever happens, we face it together, no matter how great it is. We're going to save Mom, we're going to save Jack, but even if we don't, we will go out together if need be, so there's that side of things. And then finally, we have the other side of things taking place on the other Earth, where Jack is kind of enjoying the fact is, okay, we're winning, we're saving people. And then it comes down to Michael's whole situation, because it's like, okay, Michael and the angels left the facility. So it's like, okay, him, Mary, and others go check it out. And they find Kevin there, which Kevin kind of explains about the spell that Michael does have it now, because Kevin did perfect it, the spell to get to the other world. Because for Kevin, it's like, at that time, like, stuff had already like, this is even before, I guess in his time, like, that it was before things had even gotten to where they were for Kevin in our time, in our world, because he didn't have a Sam and Dean to kind of help him out with everything. So his life kind of played out a little bit the same, like his friends and family all ended up dead, like his mom died in our time anyway, but it's just, he didn't have a Sam and Dean to kind of rely on. And it's kind of messed up and sad, but in the long run, that kind of kept him alive in a sense, because meeting Sam and Dean actually what killed him in the other timeline, because of the whole Gadriel situation, because it was like Metatron was telling them to get rid of Kevin, that whole situation. So, but nevertheless, Kevin thought Michael was trying to save the world, which does beg the question. That's like, yeah, I get it. You had your whole utopia idea. I figured that was going to be like Michael's thing of like, oh, bringing heaven to earth. Like, oh yeah, going to create this utopia in a sense. Because it seemed like that might have been like the whole plan. Like, I expected the world that he's controlling, that other world, I expected something like that from Lucifer, not Michael. So it's like, maybe they've explained it. If you do know, let me know, like, how did that happen? I don't remember they exactly explained how the world turned into what it is. I guess Michael's trying to gain control, like, I don't know, maybe winning and killing his brother kind of did a number on him, whether he kind of realized it or not. Like, he doesn't have the enemy that he once had. Like, now that challenge is gone, like, he has no one to kind of take. He's just kind of left ruling over this broken world, essentially, so I guess he didn't really think of what would be the aftermath of his fight with his brother. I guess that's kind of the long story of it, but nevertheless, that's why Kevin helped him. But sadly, when it was all said and done, Kevin sadly was supposed to be a bomb. It was like, I'm supposed to wait for Bobby, because Bobby's like the head of the resistance and everything. But it's like, I have to do this now, because Kevin wants to just stop. He's like, he's been doing so much stuff for so long for Michael, and he just wants to stop. He wants to go to heaven and be with his mom. But, you have Mary telling him, which we know for a fact ourselves from the story of Supernatural, that all there is in heaven, typically, there's more to it, but more often than not, when you go to heaven, you kind of block off yourself in your own little, like, you relive your memories and stuff like that, which Kevin doesn't care. He can't live with all that he's ever done. He just wants to see his mom again, even if it is in the shape of it, in the form of his memories. But even then, it's like, oh, Michael will let me into heaven, so that means heaven is blocked off. So I'm guessing that means like no human can go to heaven for right now. I guess that's kind of punishment for humans fighting back against them in this war rather than completely submitting is kind of what that's supposed to imply. Maybe. Or maybe just all, because I'm wondering, I wonder are all angels on Earth? It's kind of interesting too, because like, well, last episode we found out about the whole situation with like Earth not having, like, there not being any more angels in Earth 1 or this particular universe. And now in this one, there are angels, but they're kind of more dickish than the ones that we've come to know, which is kind of interesting. I wonder, is that going to play into the plot in some shape or form? Which is, I'm still baffled by the fact his last episode there was no Lucifer in heaven. Where the hell did he go? I guess he's just kind of like, he's dealing with stuff on Earth. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to track down Joe. Maybe that's what that's all about. But nevertheless. Also, too, like when Jack ends up saving Mary from the explosion, he ended up covering her with his wings. Is this our first time ever seeing Jack have wings? It never crossed my mind to think he would. I guess him being a Nephilim made me think he wouldn't have wings. I don't think his wings have ever popped up before. Even when he was first born at the end of season 12, or even when we first get a good look at him in season 13's premiere, like he never showed his wings then, did he? So I don't know. Maybe this is his first time seeing that. Like maybe he's never really had a use to use them before. So it's kind of pretty neat seeing that because I was like, oh, maybe I'm completely full of shit. I don't know. But I did like the conversation between him and Mary because Mary's still trying to teach him because like, you know, he's like, no, I can go. I can beat Michael. I know I can save everyone. But Mary's like, don't think before you act. And he's like, you don't think I'll actually win, do you? And for her, it's like, I was in your shoes. I thought nothing can stop me. But the fact of the matter is having that thought process, like, you'll never lose, gets you a big head and you start making mistakes. And those mistakes get people killed. And I love that line of being like, she's like, well, what about you? She's like, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose another boy. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Because like I said, Jack has become like a little brother to the Winchesters. And I guess, you know, which in fact kind of makes him like another son to Mary. I mean, especially after all he's done to help Dean and Sam get her back speaks volumes. So like, obviously, you know, because she's important to them, she's important to him as well, you know, so. And he apologizes to Mary at the end because he blames himself because it's like he wanted to protect all of them, but he couldn't. And it's like, if I can't do all that, then what's the point of fighting if I can't protect it? Because no matter what you do, there will always be things you can't see coming. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting because all of this is also leading into like, you know, lessons for Jack. This is all heading towards Jack becoming better and growing from these situations. So it's just kind of a nice bonding moment between him and Mary that I thought was kind of pretty neat. I mean, everything's kind of laid out next episode. I'm sure Jack is probably like the final piece that Michael will need because I figured that's what this was all supposed to be, a trap so that Michael could get Jack there to use him to open the portal. That's kind of what I assumed, but ultimately we'll have to wait and see. Because it's interesting because we don't actually know how powerful Jack is compared to Michael. We know Michael is stronger than Lucifer, but let's not forget Nephilims are supposed to be stronger than the angels they're born from. So he was born from an archangel, so he should be stronger, but we don't know what that means, like how much the scale was different between Lucifer and Michael. Like, was it close? Was it not close? I mean, has he only gotten stronger over the years? Like, those are questions you kind of have to think about. So, the team's kind of coming together next episode. Obviously, they have Cass, they've got Rowena helping out with this whole situation, and they've got Gabriel. And I'm just curious to see how this all goes down. This is episode 20, if I'm not mistaken, kind of keeping up with Arrow. So there should only be like 2 or 3 more episodes this season. I think only 2. I'm pretty sure Supernatural only has 22 episodes, doesn't it? Or does it have 23? I know a lot of the superhero stuff has 23. I don't remember if I want to say Supernatural only has 22. But nevertheless, we are nearing the end of this season, and I'm so curious to see how this all plays out with everything that's going down. Ultimately, like I said, we would just have to wait and see what goes down in the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.